In 2012, the city of New Orleans began funding the Vera Institute of Justice. The Pretrial Services Program's stated goal is to reduce the number of people being detained for minor and non-violent charges.
We agree with the mayor that there needs to be a program for low-level, non-violent offenders so that they're not languishing in our jail on taxpayer expense for long periods of time while awaiting trial.
We have already seen a decrease in New Orleans' prison population since District Attorney Leon Canizero enacted a policy to move non-violent misdemeanors from criminal district court to municipal court.
What we found by cases sitting in the criminal court, misdemeanor cases, they were sitting there for a year or 2 years. Someone charged with possession of marijuana, simple battery, criminal trespass.
According to a 2013 study by the University of Texas at Dallas, where more than 22,000 defendants were tracked over an 8-year period, the data clearly shows that felony defendants released on pretrial services bond were between 39 and 56% less likely to appear in court.
Two really important for New Orleans findings from that study. The first is that pretrial services is the least likely form to guarantee the return of a defendant to court. So it's the least effective means available. The second is it is not better, it is false to claim that it is better or in any way predictive of whether the defendant will commit a crime while out.
Vera is supported by New Orleans taxpayers.
When we look at what they bring to the city of New Orleans, we have a lot of experts right here in the city who could do the same thing, and perhaps in a more effective and efficient way, and perhaps more economically as well.
If I had the honor of talking to an elected official, I would talk to them, even if they weren't concerned about victims, which I know they are, I would talk to them about the potential wasted resources. We already don't have enough resources to protect our community, to finance our different courts. So do we want to really take a chance on a program that isn't guaranteed to make these defendants show up, and that just leads to a waste of city dollars that we preciously need to preserve?
Their pay scales, an entry-level clerk position for them with taxpayer money pays more than we're paying our police officers, our firefighters, and those who protect us and risk their lives for the citizens out there on the street.
Is Vera a wise investment of tax dollars?
I can speak for many coaches across the city and many parents across the city when I say that out here on this playground as volunteers and across the city, we can do a lot more with the funding. If you look around this playground, we don't even have facilities to use the restroom. We would like additional help at these playgrounds. We prevent crime. We are the ones that are out here in the grassroots area doing what we need to do to make sure our city is safe.
Erica Matthews, a former pretrial services investigator in Virginia, had a front row seat to pretrial services.
I worked for pretrial services. I started in July of 2005 and I left in February of 2007. I was a pretrial investigator. I left because there became political pressure to alleviate the overcrowding of the jail, and their solution was to go to pretrial and ask pretrial to start releasing more people that we would not have normally released. Rape, robbery, charges such as that.
And that's what we don't want to see happen in New Orleans, because we don't want our victims to be victimized twice.
The Vera Institute has used many different examples of their success, and one of them has been Philly, and this is the Philadelphia Inquirer, 3-day expose on everything pretrial release of a nonprofit type has done to the city. Philly has 51 warrant officers to work over 900 cases apiece. They have over $1 billion in uncollected forfeitures. 210,000 defendants owe bail money to the city of Philly. Not to mention, they paid for all this with taxpayer dollars.
The shocking 2013 Mother's Day shooting in New Orleans put the deficiencies of Vera's pretrial services model on full display.
Fox 8 has obtained a copy of a pretrial services report on Akeem Scott. That report is a tool for judges as they consider setting the bond for suspects, and it gave Akeem Scott a low-risk rating. The pretrial program is run by the Vera Institute.
There's nothing that Vera can tell the court that is going to influence the court's decision that wasn't already available to the court.
Our citizens and elected officials alike would be shocked to learn of the huge hidden cost of the Vera model, because it shifts the responsibility for apprehending fugitives accused of felonies onto an overburdened police department.
After a 2-year experiment costing taxpayers over $1 million, key criminal justice stakeholders are rejecting the Vera model because of its serious flaws: high administrative salaries, a faulty risk assessment tool, and the shift of a massive new responsibility to an overburdened police department. These flaws reveal the Vera model to be a grave risk to public safety.